Hey guys, I'm back. Can you believe it? Summer's gone. I'm like, wow, what? It's crazy. Yesterday was Friday. It was the first day for teachers to be back. I am excited though. I'm excited to get back to school, see the munchkins, and I mean, they're young adults, but to me, they're all munchkins. So, anyway, what's going on here? Well, I'm back in the garage, but as you can see, only one vehicle in the garage. I can move around and do stuff, which is super cool. Got my motorcycle Buzz right in there, so he's back in the garage, which is pretty cool. And let me show you what I've been working on. Okay, so I have these guys. Let me get these are the mini tubs for Rusty and Smoke. Heavy box. Okay, so these are the original spindles and the CPP spindles, rotors, and brackets for the calipers that were on Smokey. But because they are the stock, we ended up putting 2-inch drop spindles on. I'm going to be selling these for $250 for the whole thing. I'll put it on Facebook Marketplace and get rid of it. Hopefully it'll find a good home, somebody that's interested. The springs have been cut down. The previous owner cut them down. I forget exactly, 41 inches or something like that, but so there's a cut. So I don't know what the right height would end up being, but maybe instead of getting drop spindles, that's what he did, was he just cut the springs. But yeah, they're all good. The bearing races are perfect on them, never been used, still have all the cross hatches. I repainted them, spent the last couple days sanding them all down, getting rid of any of the surface rust. They've never been used, but they had some surface rust on them, so I got rid of the surface rust and painted them. And yeah, so there we go. Those guys are ready to go and move on to somebody else and hopefully find a happy home on the front end of somebody's car. So that's one thing I've been doing. And then I've got a BMX bike that I've been working on. It's a PK Ripper. Super cool. So I just got that back from powder coating this morning. I've got to get those A-arms and it's got the Ride-Tech bushings and everything go on to Grandpa D. So that's going to be the next project. But for the moment, so anyway, these are all parts I'm going to be selling. That's why I said that. I've also got this is a square body, so it comes out of a 75 C10 big block radiator. So the shroud and the radiator I'm going to be selling too for somebody, if anybody's interested in that. So anyway, if you're in California, in the area, interested, and you're my area, then check out Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so what's going on right now? Well, I have been under Smokey here trying to get the Ride-Tech. I just thought I would just bolt up the shocks now that I'm here at this point, but there's a problem. Maybe it's just me, because all the Ride-Tech stuff has been phenomenal and worked perfectly. But if I take, and I don't have a new battery in this, but I can just show you here in my little caliper here. Okay, so micrometer right there. So the inside, this part right there, that guy should match now when I put it right here, but you'll see that it is too big, right? So that's the problem I'm having right now, trying to get this guy to fit on there. So it does look like the bushing can be cut down. So I guess the options I'm thinking about, I can either spread this guy out or I can trim a little off this bushing, just the rubber right here. If you look at the other side, it is flush right here. So this is pretty much flush. So I'm going to try to just take my box cutter and just run it around the outside of this and then put it in and see how it does. Hopefully it gives me enough clearance, because that's kind of, and both of them are the same. And I did look at the directions here, Ride-Tech instructions, and they do say to put the where does it say here? Body up. Can you guys see that? The body needs to go up. So just like the picture they have right here, this bracket fits on under the trunk, and then the body goes up into it like so. So I'm going to give this a little trimmy around the outside of this bushing here, and hopefully it will fit. So I'll let you guys know. I gave a little trim with the box cutter. Don't like to do that, but the bushing is still there, and now we fit in just fine. So, but once again, the center's there. You can see this one, this side right here isn't really recessed at all. I mean, there's a real small recess section. This one still has a little bit of recess on it. I'm hoping that's going to be okay, because that's the only way I can get that to fit in there. So with that done, I'm going to try to get this put back together with one hand. Here we go. Okay guys, so here we go. I'm going to try to get this guy on here. This is kind of tricky because there's one bolt in the center here that goes up. So my wife was kind enough to screw the nut on the top, that bolt, and these other two bolts come down. And I just kind of keep tension on them when I'm putting them on. This one has a nylock, so it's not really gonna tighten up. So that's why I put this guy that doesn't a nylock on, just for mock-up purposes for right now. So, okay, let's give this a shot here and see what we've got going on here. I'm just taking off the screw on the bottom bracket here. Okay, should be able to fit in here now, I'm hoping. Oh, got the wrong one. What am I doing here? That's not the one that's trimmed. This is the one that's trimmed. That will fit there. Okay, here we go. There we go. Nice and easy. And what I'm going to do is, Right-Tech sends these bolts, which are really good, but the sleeve on it right here, the sleeve, doesn't come out far enough. I want it to kind of go, you know, like halfway through. So I'm going to probably buy a grade 8 bolt with a longer sleeve, and then just trim it so that it fits. So let's see here what's going on. Alright, so we are on now, which is good. However, the shock on the other side has a bushing that is the same thickness as the one I just trimmed. Oh, dang it. Oh my gosh. You guys are not liking me today. So, I don't know, and that one is almost flush on both sides, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Oops, I think it's because I'm trying to put the wrong... There we go. You guys still see that bumpity thing? Alright, there we go. Alright, I had the wrong size washer and the wrong size nut here. Okay, so here we go. Getting that on there. Okay, so let's check out the bottom. Alright, and here we go with the bottom section here. I had a headlamp. I have no idea what I did with my headlamp. What the heck? Alright, guys, well, sorry. I am going to, I guess, do without the headlight. Okay, so I've got to try to compress this guy now, which I don't know if it's going to work. Let's see if I can get, okay, I can get some pressure on it. Okay, well, you know what? I think I'm going to do this here. I think I'm going to take off the bolt here. And I think they give you these extra washers right here, these washers, as spacers. So, alright, now I've got it on here, so now I have more to push against. And I might get a jack under here to just lift this so that I don't have to do it. Yeah, I'm going to need to get a jack under it. So I'm going to get a jack under it with a piece of wood, and I'm going to use that to push it up until I can get it through this hole. And it looks like, based on the top and the clearance of the, how much of an angle that's, how much of a pinch that's putting on up above. I'm just kind of looking as far as placement. Alright, well, we'll see. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to get a jack. Alright guys, so I put a lot of blue tape on this just in case. I'm gonna try to raise it up, and I think, I don't know guys, I think I might have to, oh, I don't know, I might have to see, because it doesn't look like, you guys see this right here? Oh, it's blocked right here, but the shaft here, I'm going to pull this down here so you guys can see what's going on. So, right here, we've got, that's not going to work, right, because there's no way I can push this forward. So, I can take this bottom bracket off, and I can put this on the bottom bracket and then just lift the bottom bracket up and try to line everything up. And I think that's going to be my best bet. Just take the bottom leaf spring bracket off, put this guy on here, and then lift the whole thing up, and then put the U-bolts back in. Alright, I'm going to give that a shot, and then I'll show you guys what Okay, got it on. Focused in. Okay, so what I ended up having to do, I didn't started dropping the leaf spring. Then, wait a minute, the whole car's falling. So, I supported with jack stands, still kept lowering them. But wait a minute, before I took this bracket off completely, 3-inch lowering block, I went, let me see here what I can do. So I put the bottom bracket back in, and then I used just muscled this down, and since it's with gravity, put a little bit of body weight on it, pull down, and now when I got it in, it took a little while to manhandle it to get the bolt through, but bolt is through. I do see that I'm going to need spacers, if you guys can see that here. So right in here, you guys see that gap right there? Okay, so I am going to need to put in some of the spacers that Ride Tech gave, just washers, right? I'm going to put in probably one when I have this completely done, right? But at least I know that this fits in. Put my blue tape on, it's good. Now what I'm going to do is come around to this guy. I'm going to take this bracket off and make sure that it fits the shock strut, I believe. Shock. Make sure that it works, that it's going to fit in this little bracket right here. There we go, right there, right? So I want to make sure that I can put that in before I try to manhandle it and find out it doesn't work, because it doesn't even fit in between them. So give me just a minute, I'm going to take it apart and we'll see. So this is what I've come to the conclusion of. I shouldn't have trimmed the bushings, because I'm going to take this in, and hopefully I can get one of my friends at the ag department to heat up this piece right here, and I'm going to move it over to the left just a little bit, and I'm going to heat up each one of these and move them out as well. I should have just done that in the first place, but I want to try to get it to work in the garage without any problems. I think what just happens is when they're putting the heat in and they're welding these together, metal's going to move. It just happens. So no big deal. I'll just get them and pull them apart just a little bit, each one of them, and I think we're going to be fine. Everything will be good to go. And the bushing, I believe, is more to isolate the body of the shock from the this internal piece right here. And this piece is to stop it when you're clamping, so that the clamping force doesn't destroy the body of the shock. So I think to isolate the two, there's still bushing there. It's going to be fine. I don't believe, well, maybe it does, but I don't believe that it really matters with it being in between here, because you're going to clamp it down anyway. So hopefully it doesn't squeak real bad or anything like that, but try to do the best I could. So all right, so I'll let you guys know once I get that taken care of. It'll probably be a couple days from now, and then we shall see. Hey guys, all right, it's a week later, and the guys, some of the students at our ag shop were kind enough to heat up these brackets right here so that I'm able to fit the end of the shock body into it. I'll show you guys what that looks like here in just a second. And yeah, so it's Saturday. It's, I don't know, 100. It's hot outside, but I'm doing good, having fun. So let me show you some of the things I'm working on. I'm gonna flip the camera around and get you guys updated. So here we can see the shock body fits in here now without squeezing anything. I can fit it right in there, and then I can clamp it down. So they had to, we had to heat this one up and bend it out a little bit, and this one a little bit as well. And then on this one, the same thing. Here, I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. I have got to get a selfie stand, right? All right, here we go. Hey. So there we go. See, it fits in there nice and easy now. So when I'm under the car compressing everything, I can fit it in and it'll all work out. So not a big deal, not a big obstacle. Just got that taken care of, and moving on to the next thing. So the other thing I was noticing when I was down underneath Smokey here, I noticed that right here on the other side, because I'm putting that C-notch kit in with the frame brace in it, rear frame brace, one of the bolts that I'm using is hitting the spare tire recess, whatever you want to call this pocket. So what I'm going to do is just drill out the spot weld, pull this guy out, and I can weld him back in, and then I'll also then I can, instead of making it look like a hack job and, you know, cutting little holes in here and there and making it fit, I can just weld in a piece of metal that'll go down, that'll go, you know, it'll have the right width for a spare tire, even if a smaller spare tire, so that way, you know, just something to get them around, you know, if one of the tires goes out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just removing the, I guess it's called butyl, nasty tar stuff. So I'm getting that out, and then I'm going to end up drilling out the spot welds and, yeah, getting that done. So I'll try to set up my phone here so you guys can see me and while I'm working, and hopefully I can do a little fast forward, so time-lapse things, so you guys don't have to watch this whole process, because, yeah, that would be boring. So I got to tell you, I love purple stripping discs. Those things work amazing. Look at this. It has numbers stamped into it. That is pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe it's car archaeology. I don't know. I just love stripping things back and seeing original from the factory leftovers, which are pretty cool, untouched. So now I can see all the spot welds. I'm going to go in and dig them all out and then pop this thing out. So I'll start up the camera here in just a couple minutes. Once I get these guys, a couple of them in, then I'll do a little time lapse on that. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Purple stripping discs, this is what they look like. You get them on Amazon. a whole bunch of them. They're really not super expensive, and man, these things have saved me. They really have. Okay, here we go. So I know that when it comes to cutting spot welds out, seems like everybody does it their own way. Some people just drill it all the way through. Some people do what I'm doing, where you drill a pilot hole in and then you put the spot weld cutter in. Some people don't drill the pilot hole. They just plug it in from where it is there. Do whichever way you want. This is the way I do it. It seems to be working. I mean, you find a way that works for you, use it. This seems to have worked for me. So yeah, so let me show you kind of what's going on. I'll flip the camera. So this went all the way through. Okay, but these other ones left me with some of the base floor metal that's there. So I'm just going to keep moving along. As I was thinking about taking this hold down bracket off completely, but I went, wait a minute, if I just, as long as they didn't spot weld it here, you know, as long as they didn't spot weld from this bracket into the spare tire chamber, whatever you want to call that, to the floor, then I'm good to go. As long as there aren't spot welds like right under those two, as long as there's just these four, then I should be good to go. I can just take these guys out. This retains its stock location, so if I want to put it back in, I can, and I can just, you know, continue the floor out like this, you know, for the new spare tire that's just a little thinner. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep moving around. You guys have seen this. I won't videotape it. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So I'll move around. Once I get it all done, then I'll resume the video. All right, and so here we go. It looks like I got everything done here. Gonna lift this guy. Turns out that little bracket, this little guy right here, sure enough, was spot welded. So I had to get those two spot welds out. But here we go. The whole thing comes up. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. So when using the spot weld cutter, if you haven't used one before, it just leaves these little knob things right here. They're just the existing metal of the spot weld. And you can just cut those out, or grind them off, actually, not cut them out, but grind them off. And this is what we've got. That's the bolt I was talking about right there. So can you guys see how this protrudes into what would have been the wheel well section? Yeah, so looks like we are good to go. I'm gonna clean this all off under here and probably shoot it with some weld-through primer, and so that nothing happens to it, and then I will be good to go to put in the shocks. So on to what we were gonna do today. So Here we go. Okay, and there we go. Nice and shined up. I'll go back with the grinder and I'll take these nubs off there and get it all. I'm not going to do it today, but I'll get those all dialed in. It'll be set up. What else? Oh, if you don't have this tool, go get one. These things are awesome. It has a sharp blade on these two sides. It's a multi-use tool. It has a metal end so that you can slam on it with the hammer. This is one of those tools. They have them at Lowe's. I think they have them at Home Depot as well. Yeah, this is one of those tools that will help you out tons. And there was something else I was going to show you guys, but life of me, I can't think of it right now. All right. But yeah, that's one of those tools that will help out a whole lot. Oh, this guy. I know Rob at Half Rods has talked about this as well. If you don't have one of these little guys, for me, it helps out so much. If you're just really good at using your drill bit and getting things set, it's fine. But for me, I use this little punch to get the drill bit going. These little guys are great. Got them on Amazon, and I'm sure you can get that on Amazon as well. So anyway, just thought I'd throw a little things for those of you guys. I'm not nearly as knowledgeable as a lot of you guys, but hey, you know what? Here we go. All right, I'm going underneath next to try to get these shocks finally installed. All right, so this is the passenger side, and I was able to get it attached here. So I got my little light turned on here. You guys can see what's going on. There's a little gap here. I think the problem's that, well, the body of the shock not fitting into the mounting, that's just something that came like that. I had to get that, heated up and moved. But the other things I'm going to talk about in just a second, I think they're because the geometry when I moved, when I did the pocket kit, moving the base of the shock so the base of the shock is here now. It should have been, the way they designed it would be over that way, I don't know, about 5 inches or so. So I think that's kind of messing with the geometry as far as fit is going here. So I'll end up it'd be cool if Ride Tech would come out with a StreetGRIP, because so many Tri-Fi people do have pocket kits, a StreetGRIP that worked with pocket kits. They actually went in and put all their stuff on it, and yeah, anyway, they could even sell a pocket that went with it, a full package, or you can buy pieces. But anyway, so I might have to heat these guys up and move them backwards just a little bit, so that I'm not running into this gap issue. I don't want it when I put the bolts in and suck this up. I mean, it'll flex. So, and the steel itself might just flex and not, everything else, but I'll just have to see. But I do have plenty of clearance here, so let me jump over here so you guys can see this, get my hand in the right position. Sorry, guys. So you guys can see here, there's plenty of clearance between the axle and the body of the shock, or the shock coming up and down. And then the frame bracing kit will go from here to the other side, but I have to find a place, that will work. I don't know if I'm going to do it at the top up here and go straight across or what. That's why I'm going through this mock-up stage. You got to go through mock-up to find out if everything's going to work, instead of just expecting it to bolt on if you've never done it before. So the other problem I'm having is this guy right here. So this side is entirely different. This side has this reinforcement. So I'm gonna have to cut this guy down just a little bit. And then more than likely I'm going to have to bend both of the brackets, so heat them up with a torch and then move them back towards the back of the car just a little bit, just angle them down a little bit, because when I'm trying to push it up, if you guys can see, let me get this here, the angle inside the shock here is not matching up with what I have. So I don't even know if I can do this with one arm. It's pretty strong. Let me see if I can get a hold. So here you can see, I mean, I can push up a little bit farther, but the angle that the hole for the shock is, that goes into the shock, is not lining up with the angle on the bracket itself. I actually have to tilt the bracket. Oops, sorry. I have to tilt the bracket. Let me get myself focused in. I have to tilt the bracket backwards, back that way, so that it'll shift, you know, everything will shift back. Yeah, so that's what, so I have to shift everything back so that I can get this guy dialed in. And I'll recess this. So this is gonna have to be a to be continued, guys. I'm gonna send this video off so you guys can kind of see what's going on. I'm gonna pull this bracket back off, and I'm going to cut that little relief in the back side here so that it's not gonna hit. Once again, because the shock isn't traveling from here to here, if I didn't have the pocket kit, then the shock would be going in this direction out over here, but because I have the pocket kit, it moved the shock closer to the center of the body or the frame. And so now this brace that they have that's coming across here is going to run into problems. But I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to take the same U-lip that they have here, right there, and I'm going to just drop it down about 1/4 of an inch or so. 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. As far as getting the correct angle, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get one of my buddies with a torch and put a bolt in it, and then use the leverage of the bolt so I keep both. So I want to keep both eyelets, right, level with each other. So I'm going to try to get the bolt in there and then heat it up really good, rosy hot, and just bend it back a little ways so that I can line that up, and then that should work. So, oh, sorry guys. So that's what I'm looking at. It looks like my cell phone is running out of juice, and I think I'm running out of juice. I'm pretty tired, so this is going to have to be a to be continued. I'm down here on the ground. Thanks guys for checking it out, at least today's and what I've been working on last week, and we're still working on it. We're not going to give up yet. We're never going to give up. We'll get this all dialed in and taken care of and moving around and all that good stuff. Oh, what I can show you guys here, hold on just a sec. I'm going to flip this around one more time. This is what my C-notches look like. So it's a slide on, so it slides onto the frame, and then this is a piece of pipe that's been welded in, and we had this cut on the plasma cutter, and it goes down, oops, down to, I can't even see it, down to there, and it bolts on in 3 different locations, and then it'll have the hold for the frame brace that'll come across probably in this area right here to the other side, and that'll have an H. Have 2 pieces like you'd see it kind of like on a Roadster Shop or Art Morrison or, you know, any of those. And it'll go back, and then I have it, I have the pipe that's already been bent to clear the differential, and then I have a larger pipe and a smaller pipe, and it'll bolt right through. So this could be like a bolt-on C-notch if somebody wanted to get like a bolt-on C-notch for their Tri-5. I thought that'd be kind of cool, because I know when you're lowering these guys, there's not a lot of room. I mean, it looks like it because there's a big arch, but once you start to move the axle up, and start to drop the rear end, it gets pretty close. So, all right, guys, just thought I'd kind of show you guys what's going on. Thank you for checking everything out. If you are still following along, please like and subscribe. Check out all the cool YouTubers that know so much more than me, but are out there working on it. Check out Half Rods. You'll see links for the description. In my description, you'll see links to everybody's channels. I like to do that when I come across something new. I just make sure that it's on my YouTube video so you guys can always check it out, find out other people, and hopefully they can answer questions if I'm not answering any questions. More than likely, I'm giving you more questions. But so we've got 55 210 rusty wrenches, Montana Garage. Restoring Christine is another good one I came across the other day, which is pretty good. And let's see here. Dan's Tri-5's really good. Kyle Phillips, of course. Yeah, so check them out, guys. Like and subscribe to those guys as well. Have some fun out there and work on your Tri-5s, C10s, hot rods, all that good stuff.